knocked off some pretty impressive foes. The Denver Broncos, the Carolina Panthers, and today they have another tough team coming in the Atlanta Falcons, coming off the bye week at 5-2 on the season, locked in a three-way tie in the NFC South. And Darryl, everyone, of course, talks about the amazing exploits of quarterback Michael Vick, but they don't seem to talk about how good this football team is.
And that's what it is. It's a team. And when you talk about the NFC, I think a lot of people look at Carolina still trying to hold on to the Philadelphia Eagles or maybe the Seattle Seahawks out west, but the Atlanta Falcons are 5-2, and they're a team to be reckoned with. They win ugly with one of the greatest athletes in the NFL, and that's what I think people worry about. But you have to understand the way that they do it is through aggressive defense, a strong running game, and a quarterback who has great ability to create when things break down. That is what the identity of the Falcons is. Now, the Dolphins, they're still searching for an identity on the offensive side of the ball. Since Dan Marino retired, they really haven't had one. This team has always been defined by their defense, but what they're trying to do is incorporate Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams and create a strong running game. But critical to the success in that area, they have to get off to good starts, because if they have to lean on their passing game, they are not playing to their strengths. And Tony, it sounds like we're going to have some good old-style football being played on the field today.
Moose, this is smash mouth at its best. You're going to have both of these teams trying to run the ball right down the other one's face. But the advantage goes, I think, to the Atlanta Falcons. They have a guy who's the most dangerous guy on the field, who's going to have the ball in his hands on every play, and that's Michael Vick. We talked to Jason Taylor. One thing he said was, you have to respect Michael Vick, but don't give him too much respect, because it can affect your play.
All right, Tony, so coming up, it'll be the Falcons and the Dolphins.
I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I can do is seem to think that I'm peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around, wondering what I gotta do. I'm supposed to be. I don't want to be anything other than.
And welcome to Dolphin Stadium as we're set for the opening kickoff between the Falcons and the Dolphins. And of course, this very special day here at Dolphin Stadium as all 9 Miami Dolphin Hall of Famers are being honored here. This was the coin toss. Referee Scott Green moments ago. And I was stunned to learn just seconds ago as we were watching this, Darryl, that for a youngster growing up in Buffalo, New York, that you were a Miami Dolphin fan as a kid.
Yes, I was. Everybody asked me, was it difficult to play against your hometown team in the Super Bowls? And I had to unfortunately reveal to them that, you know, as a young boy growing up, I was a Miami Dolphin fan. And they're like, well, how can you be a Dolphin fan growing up in Buffalo? Because of those guys right there. Larry Zonka was my guy.
And of course, Dan Marino is going to be presented with the Hall of Fame ring at halftime. And of course, the Dolphins want the fans in the game. That's one of the things that Nick Saban in his first year as head coach has urged. He says, I want it to be very tough to play a Dolphin team and tough to come in here to play the Dolphins on the road. And of course, it's easier said than done when you're in this kind of climate for the intensity to be the way it would be in Green Bay or Chicago or some other place. Well, that's a different story, but they're trying. Alan Rossum, who's been battling injuries and will return both punts and kickoffs today, is standing back. Orlando Mare will be kicking off for the Miami Dolphins, the Falcons, and that means Michael Vick will get his hands on the ball first. Miami coming in 3-4 on the year, and they have seemed to have a tendency of getting pleased with themselves after they win a game, as they did after the Bronco win on opening day and Carolina in week 3. We'll see how they respond to their victory over the Saints today. Kickoff into the end zone, and it's going to be returned by Rossum. One of the best when he's healthy. Alan Rossum spinning his way and getting close to the 30-yard line. A return of 33 yards. So Michael Vick, now look at those numbers 2 weeks ago against the Jets before the bye week. 3 interceptions, passing rating of 16, yet he wins.
And that's all that it's about. And, you know, they don't have the numbers in the passing game that the Falcons would want or fans would want, but they're winning these games, and that's the most important thing. That's the bottom line. And with fantasy football, this has become a very stats-driven league, but as a player, the bottom line is winning games.
Roddy White is going to start his first NFL game. He's a rookie picked on the #1 round. 4 rookies starting for the Falcons today, and Warwick Dunn carries on the first play of the game and gets 1 yard, and that's a good sign as the Falcons boasting the #1 running game in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's because of these guys right here. To have success in the way they run the football, the guards in the center must work very well in conjunction. They try and stretch the field, get guys moving, and then allow Warwick Dunn to kind of pick his hole. They're not a team that's going to go in and punch a hole in a defense and really designate where the ball should go. They allow the running back to find the open lane.
Dunn gained 155 yards a couple of weeks ago and is amongst the league leaders in rushing. It's 2nd down and 9, and Michael Vick trying to throw for the first time, and he gets down. He'll lose, and a flag is down. He'll lose about a yard on the play. Junior Seau, who has been inactive the last 3 weeks with a strained calf, coming in to make the play. So Seau, the veteran and future Hall of Famer, and a loss of 2 pending the call.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, number 55 from the end of the run. Still 2nd down.
So Seau made the play, but he also made a bad play for the penalty, and it'll be a situation with a 5-yard penalty.
And here's the guys on the Miami Dolphin defense are going to have to slow down those 3 interior guys. It's your 2 tackles and your middle linebacker, Zach Thomas. It's kind of like the old triangle. If you're strong in the middle, you've got a great chance to be successful. And Warwick Dunn likes to read the blocks on both of those inside tackles to find that open running lane.
2nd down and 6. Here's Dunn. And once again, you can see the Falcons trying to test the middle of the Dolphins line to very little success, picking up 1 yard on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Well, the Falcons are they're trying to pound the ball. You know, it's what they're all about. But you have to realize the Dolphins played one of their best defensive games of the season last week. Now, I'm not saying that Aaron Brooks from New Orleans is like Michael Vick of Atlanta, but they got a little dose of a guy who can ad-lib and create when the things break down around him. They did a great job creating pressure, and they're off to a good start in this first series today.
Jerome Pathon, number 82, getting some playing time today with Michael Jenkins out with the high ankle sprain. Pathon wide to the left on 3rd and 5. Out of the shotgun, and the pass is caught by Brian Finneran, and Finneran on the move is knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line after a gain of 24 by Lance Schulter. So Finneran, who has been ignored the last 2 weeks, with a big play.
Yeah, and what Brian, he buys his time, he waits for his opportunity. Everybody's going to be focused on L.G. Crumpler. Now that looks like it might have been a miscommunication because you had Brian Finneran and L.G. Crumpler right in the same area. But they should use L.G. as kind of a decoy, you know, get him down the seams, split the defense, and then allow the guys to come underneath. If you're a linebacker or a defensive back, you're looking for number 83 of the Falcons.
No surprise that the Falcons went to Finneran, who did not get thrown out at all the last 2 games. Blitz showing 1st and 10 at the 42, the pass up the middle, and a great one-handed catch by L.G. Crumpler, the tight end. And he is the favorite receiver for Michael Vick, and a gain of 13 yards and a 1st down inside the 30.
Well, it all starts with the guys up front. They do a good job. Here comes all your pressure into the middle area. You got your fullbacks, your offensive line working well in conjunction. That gives Michael Vick the time to get the ball down the field. And that blitz was coming from the center of the field, and they got L.G. Crumpler right into that vacated area.
1st down on the 28. Falcons marching. Crumpler going in motion. Play action. And a lot of room for Vick if he wants to run. And Vick will get inside the 20-yard line. He will be short of the 1st down by a couple of yards, getting 8 yards on the carry.
This running game and this passing game work in conjunction together. To be able to run the ball, you've got to have a quarterback who can back out, come out the back door on the boot. The end man on the line of scrimmage has got to squeeze for the running game, but you see him right there. He's squeezed all the way down. He's out of the play. Look at what Michael Vick has outside. He can get outside. He's got plenty of time to find a receiver downfield. He can tuck the ball and run. That's why they're successful running the ball, because the defensive end away from the run has to respect Michael Vick's bootleg ability.
And a full house backfield showing right now, and a handoff to Dunn. And Dunn again showing little success, and Jason Taylor brings him down at the 21-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and short coming up, and Taylor, who says he comes into the game 70%. He has a plantar fasciitis injury on his foot, which is very painful and nagging, and playing at 70%, but a key man for the Dolphins defense.
And what that injury does, it really takes away Jason Taylor's strength, which is his burst, his first step. That injury has really slowed him down in that area, so it'll be interesting to see how effective he is in his pass rush ability.
3rd down and 2, and the crowd rising to the occasion, hoping the Dolphins defense can snuff out the Falcons. And here is Vick on the run and the pass, and it's caught inside the 5-yard line by Crumpler. A great catch, and he had a defender right in his face. So Algie Crumpler fights off Lance Schulters in a gain of 19 yards. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 5 for Atlanta.
Well, there's just great confidence between Algie Crumpler and Mike Vick, and they have plays designed for him. But look at this. This is good coverage by Lance Schulters, just beyond his fingertips. And, you know, Algie Crumpler is a big guy, but he has great hands. You saw the catch earlier in the game when he went up in the air and brought one down. That one he extends all the way out to get one. So this is a passing combination that's going to have some big dividends. That is huge right there. Not one converted 3rd down last week, 2 for 2 this week.
Last week the Saints, this week the Falcons, and walking in for the touchdown is Warwick Dunn. As the Atlanta Falcons converting on 3rd down, a 1-yard touchdown run by Warwick Dunn, and the Falcons score on their first possession of the game.
Well, that was the Dolphin defense had played well up until that point between the tackles. You know, some of the plays were on the perimeter or down the field in the passing game, but that one, they walked right in.
Todd Peterson on for the extra point. He has yet to miss, either with an extra point or a field goal thus far this year. And he remains perfect, and the Falcons jump up on the Dolphins by a score of 7-0.
Fox NFL Sundays, sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Falcons rolling down the field to take a 7-0 lead. They averaged 8 yards a play on the drive, and it's the 7th straight game that an opponent has scored on the opening possession. It really gets under the craw of Coach Nick Saban because they start slowly defensively and offensively as well.
And it affects what they want to do offensively, because if you get behind, you can't lean on that running game. So it'll be interesting to see. It's very early in the game. Don't panic right now. Come out and stick to your game plan.
Michael Kanan kicking to Wes Welker inside the 10-yard line and upended as he crosses the 20-yard line. So coming up, Ronnie Brown, Ricky Williams, and the Dolphins offense after these messages. 7-0 in favor of the Falcons, looking for their 3rd straight win for the first time. And when they have scored first this season, they have not lost. So the omens are good for the Falcons as the Dolphins on their first possession, beginning from the 21-yard line. Play action and the flip. And that was number 31, Sammy Morris. So Gus Farad making his 8th start of the season. And how about this rating when he faced the Atlanta Falcons 2 years ago?
He was a Minnesota Viking at that time, but had a great day on the field the last time he went up against this team. But the Falcons are a much different team than they were 2 years ago. That was the end of one era, and since Jim Moore has taken over, this is a very, very different defensive style.
Ronnie Brown in motion, and the quick out to Ronnie Brown, and Brown breaks 1 tackle and is finally stopped at the 34-yard line after a gain of 5.
Well, they were just lined up together on that last snap. Ronnie Brown split out wide. Ricky Williams in the backfield. Last week, a tremendous day by both of them. The best chemistry that they've had getting these guys on the field together. They'd like to get them 40 touches between the two of them. They got close to that last week and had a great performance.
Ronnie Brown picked on the first round out of Auburn, and the handoff is to Brown, changing direction and changing hands. Notice the way he moved the ball into his right hand. He's short of the first down as he gets to the 41. A 7-yard pickup. So how do the Atlanta Falcons play the running game?
Well, the same way that they had on the other side, that triangle. We talked about the Dolphins triangle. It's going to be the same thing for the Falcons. The 2 tackles and Keith Brooking. And they're not going up a similar blocking style that the Falcons use, but all that emphasis will be on the down guys and that middle backer.
And they're going to go with a reverse, and upended is Chris Chambers. So the Dolphins try something fancy, and Chris Chambers is upended, and a big loss of 12 yards. Jonathan Babineau, the rookie from Iowa, starting his first game in place of the injured Brady Smith.
Jonathan Babineau gets across the face of Damian McIntosh, beats him, and then goes right to the ball and ends up tripping Chris Chambers coming around. And this is something you're going to see from this Dolphin offense. They're going to have to use some gadget plays. They're going to have to do some things with smoke and mirrors to move the ball against this Falcon defense.
But they do have to stop the penetration up front and loose if they're going to try and get any of that stuff done.
Absolutely. 3rd down and 15, and the screen pass to Ronnie Brown. And Brown is tackled at the 36-yard line. And Chad Lavallee making the tackle. So 4th down coming up, and the Dolphins will have to punt.
And that's one of the things that's about this defense is the hustle. Chad Lavallee going upfield to rush the passer. He sees the lineman leave and the back leave for the screen, and he chases it down from behind.
You know, down here on the field, Moose, watching this defense, Atlanta's defense is all over the field. We just saw that with Lavallee, but I'm wondering if they can sustain that throughout this whole game.
Well, they're not big, but they are quick and fast, and they can cover side to side, Tony. As Donnie Jones with the punt, and the Falcons were coming in to try to get a piece of it. Allen Rawson with the fair catch. All of a sudden, the wind took the ball, and he had a backpedal and got to the 11-yard line. It could have been a tough situation. Meanwhile, Mike Vick and the Atlanta offense will take over when we return. The Falcons went 71 yards in 9 plays to open the game to get their 7-0 lead. Jason Taylor, one of the greats, the all-time leading sack leader for the Dolphins. Michael Vick leading the team out. Was a perfect 3 for 3 for 57 yards on the march. Warwick Dunn, the key to the running attack. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Here's Dunn getting up the middle and getting some room, and a 1st down. Warwick Dunn with a gain of 12 yards, and Tavares Tillman, the strong safety, making the tackle.
That's what happens with the Falcons running game. It's going to go this way, but now it's going to bend back. And when you play these gap-oriented styles of defense where everybody has to get a fit, once you get out of position, that's where the lane opens up. Now the backside has got to stay on their feet. You saw right there, they're chop blocks on the backside. They're trying to get them off their feet so they can't squeeze the hole down and prevent that running back from getting through.
Officially an 11-yard pickup, and this time play action. Michael Vick settling in and goes to Warwick Dunn out on the flat and pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Channing Crowder, the rookie from the University of Florida. 7-yard pickup will bring up 2nd down and short.
We had an opportunity to do the Giants game last week and talk to Eli Manning, and he talked about his progression is getting his feet set where the check down is, not necessarily just knowing where he is, but being in position to throw. Look at Michael Vick right there. Look at the position he is. He knows that Warwick Dunn is out here the side, but as he goes through his progression, he gets his body and his feet set to be able to throw to the check down.
The footwork is the key, as Jim Mora told us yesterday. 2nd down and 3, again play action. And there's Vick bouncing his way in, trying to get away from a defender. Flag is down, and Vick throws the ball away.
They got 2 of them. They're going to have a face mask and a roughing the passer. The guy ran out of flags back there.
Kevin Carter initially put the force on Vick, and here is Scott Green without a hat.
There are 2 fouls on the play. 5-yard face mask defense. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 90, pushing the quarterback to the ground. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Jeff Scanina, the veteran, and it'll be a 1st down. Again, penalties really hurting the Dolphins' cause.
Yeah, the 2nd time we've seen an inadvertent face mask, one of the things that Michael Vick creates, but here's the end of it. The ball's out, and then just that little extra shove. Doesn't take much, but you got to play within the confines of the rules. And good thing they didn't do something else wrong. I don't think I want to see what that guy's going to throw next. Got a flag. He's lost his hat.
I'll go with you. It was a penalty, Moose. You can't do, even though it was a little shove, you still got to stay away from the quarterback, especially if it's Michael Vick. You know they're protecting him.
Yeah.
Unnecessary to do that. 29 penalties, the most in the league. And as a result, a 1st down on the Falcon 44-yard line. And here's Warwick Dunn off the right tackle, and Dunn picking up a couple of yards with Kevin Carter making the stop on the play. Jason Taylor is playing a stand-up linebacking position. A 4-3 is what the Dolphins normally list their defense, but they play a 3-4 very often with Taylor moving around from side to side, rushing from a stand-up spot.
It's been a challenge for the defensive players mentally this year because they played in a very similar system for a number of years, and now they're very multiple in their fronts and their coverages, and it's been a big change for them.
2nd and 8, and the shallow cross to Finneran, and a 1st down for Atlanta, 45-yard line. Keewaukie Thomas making the tackle, a 9-yard pickup, and this is a team that scores a lot of points. That's why you have to really forget about the statistics put up by Michael Vick, because this team gets points, and as you mentioned at the outset, victories.
Yeah, and this group offensively in the passing game is going to get better. It's a transitional period. It's a learning curve that they're in this West Coast system, but better days are ahead. But yeah, the important thing in the NFL is winning games. Don't lose sight of that.
From the 45 of the Dolphins, and here is Dunn, and he is knocked back for no gain on the play, and that was Vonnie Holliday with help from the veteran Zach Thomas.
Moose, the interior line of the Dolphins is doing a great job of playing the inside run. The one thing from looking down here on the field is they're not doing a great job of getting a pre-snap read and knowing when it's going to be passed and converting that run stopping, all of a sudden having to rush and get Michael Vick down on the ground. So they have to convert a little better than they're doing right now.
And they put Warwick Dunn, Tony, wide to the left, and Nick Saban sees it. So Dunn is being defended by a cornerback, and the pass thrown to Algie Crumpler, and he amazingly catches it again. He does not drop anything. Crumpler with a 6-yard pickup to the 39-yard line. Zach Thomas on the defense.
Where are you going with the ball? I'm going to number 83. I don't care there's 3 guys all around him. He'll get it.
It's easy to find that number too, Moose. He ain't no small target out there.
No, and that's the amazing thing. When you watch him down the field, when you see Algie Crumpler in uniform, you think, oh, blocking tight end. He can't stretch the field vertically. He can't have great hands. Next thing you know, he's down the field 35 yards making circus catches. Officially,
Vick is 6 for 6. 3rd down and 5 at the 40-yard line. And here is Michael Vick, and he has enough room to make the 5 yards and more, and gets the flag again. Lance Schulter's on the hit. And all of a sudden, I think the Dolphins are complaining to the official that when he takes off, he's no longer a quarterback. He's a running back, and he was just shouldered out of bounds. So you wonder.
Well, here it is again. You know, it's the bootleg. You know, and it's part of this offense. You squeeze down to get Warwick Dunn, and that freeze is just enough to get Michael Vick on the corner. And the fans here are really booing. We'll see what happens.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 30. 15 yards penalty. First down.
And it is a good call when you see it from behind, because you can see Vick was going out of bounds.
Well, he's going out of bounds, but he's not in the white. I don't know, Tony.
Call it, Moose. Call it, Moose. That was not a
That's part of the game. Yeah, I'm going to go with you.
If you go and you treat Michael Vick, and all of a sudden you think he's going out of bounds, he stops. He can cut back so fast, and then you look like the biggest fool if you don't go after him like any other running back out there.
Great point by you, Tony.
So it'll be 1st down and 10. We'll mark the ball at the 11-yard line, and here is Warwick Dunn again going off the right side, and the Dolphins pile up on him after a gain of 3 yards.
Well, it's all kind of what the Dolphins said they wanted to do against Michael Vick. They're going to take their shots at him, and that was not outside the confines of the rules. As soon as a player steps into the white, now you really can't hit him. But I agree, Tony, if you start to call it that way, he is one guy who has the athletic ability to stop on a dime and get back inside you.
I agree with you guys. I said it initially, but when I saw it from behind...
He swayed you?
Yeah, no.
Way to go, Dick. No. Jump on our coattails.
No, I think you guys were wrong.
Thank you.
2nd down and 7. I think he was clearly going out of bounds. Here is Vick, and wide open is Justin Griffith, and Griffith loses the ball, and the Dolphins may have it. Miami recovers as Justin Griffith, who is starting with T.J. Duckett still out with a high ankle sprain. Travis Daniels, the rookie from LSU, Nick Saban's old school where he won a national title, makes the recovery.
Well, there was a big collision at the end of this play. Channing Crowder comes over with a big hit, jars the ball loose.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new Sprint, the official telecommunications service sponsor of the NFL. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By Lowe's, where improving home improvement never ends. And by Mitsubishi, driven to thrill.
One of the things that Jimmy Johnson said in the studio on the pregame show, he said the Falcons protect the ball better than anyone in the league, and he's right. That was only the 4th fumble that the Falcons have lost all year. So now, Dolphins get it back, and Ronnie Brown picking up about a yard on the play. Chad Lavallee.
You know, sometimes you do everything right. You got the ball in the outside arm, you've got your inside arm free, but the game is physical. Watch this hit by Channing Crowder. He gets him right in the ear hole. Now that ball comes loose, and you can see Justin Griffith right there. He's like a boxer that just took a right hook to the jaw. It's one of those things where you're kind of out on your feet and everything kind of goes limp, and that ball just fell out of his grasp.
2 ways to look at it. Coaches teach you to go and attack the ball. You can attack the guy and get the same result.
2nd down and 10 on the 11-yard line for Gus Barat. And the flag is down, and the quick pass out to Chris Chambers, and he runs out of bounds. A quick penalty marker thrown. D'Angelo Hall was defending on the play. Here's Scott Green with his hat on this time.
Offsides. Defense. Number 92. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Chauncey Davis, the rookie, offsides on the call. And right now, our first game break of the day. Let's check in with James Brown.
All right, Dick. Tampa Bay's Carnell Williams fumbled the ball, giving Carolina good field position. Stephen Davis, 10th rushing touchdown of the season for Carolina. They're up 10-0 in that one. As we go back to Dick, Darrell, and Tony. Hey, Dick, Terry Bradshaw says, way to stick up in the argument with Goose.
Hey, there's nothing like disagreeing with two guys that have won a total of 4 Super Bowls. You know, it just does a lot for me. The second down and 5. And here's Ronnie Brown. Brown breaking. What a cut move by Brown. First down up to the 24-yard line. And a good block in the process by the wide receiver, Chris Chambers. A gain of 9.
Well, we're coming back from the game break with JB, and they're talking about Cadillac Williams, who accidentally put the ball on the ground out in Tampa Bay. But can you imagine Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams in the same backfield last season at Auburn with Jason Campbell, their quarterback? I didn't get a chance to watch them play. That must have been amazing because those two guys run so physically.
That's why they were picked so high in the draft. And in fact, Brown picked number 2 as he sets behind the line on first down, and the pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. They wanted to get the ball to Chris Chambers, and Chad Lavallee got a hand up on it. Gus Frerotte, Dolphins, his 6th NFL team. He was a 7th-round pick with the Redskins back in 1994. Remember, the Dolphins had Jay Fiedler last year, A.J. Feely, who they gave up a lot for, and he was dealt to the San Diego Chargers in the middle of October. Second and 10 for Miami on the 24-yard line. Quick moving first quarter, and Ronnie Brown, we talk about quick moving, gets up to the 30-yard line. Patrick Kearney makes the tackle. 6 more for Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, but that's Patrick Kearney, who's a defensive end coming in, and Ronnie Brown is able to get 3-4 more yards after contact. I mean, he's just such a strong physical runner. And, you know, the good thing when you've got Ricky Williams there is you see him come off the sideline, you can keep those guys fresh. And, you know, we've talked about Ronnie and Ricky being in the backfield at the same time, but they also get in there on their own, so they both can stay fresh throughout the game.
Sammy Morris replaces Ronnie Brown on 3rd down and 4. Frerodte's pass broken up. Would have been tough to get it through. Keith Brooking with the play on, making it 4th down. Marty Booker was the intended receiver, and there was no chance of getting it to Booker. He was well covered.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful when you're changing personnel groups, especially the running backs, that you're not giving the defense a tendency. That play was covered very well by the Falcon defense. And when you've got Sammy Morris in the backfield offset, I think the Falcons were ready for kind of a sprint out to the right and the route combination that was going to come off of that.
He was so wide on his offset too, Moose.
Donnie Jones with the punt. Allen Rawson back to the 25-yard line. Still not 100%, and Rawson is tackled. Good coverage on the punt by the Dolphins. 45-yard punt, 0 return, and the tackle made by Travis Minor. Back here at Dolphin Stadium, 7-0 in favor of the Falcons. Boy, my partner, blue collar, has his sleeves rolled up, working hard today. Hey, observation, penalties really hurt the Dolphins, but it might have been 14-0 if Atlanta hadn't fumbled.
Yeah, they got that turnover down there, but right now they're doing some things to prevent themselves from being successful. And Nick Saban came in, he's trying to establish a culture, a foundation to take this team forward in. And one of the things he's been harping on are penalties. They really hurt the Dolphins, and it looks like the same thing this afternoon.
You ought to harp on it some more. 22 seconds to go in the quarter. Justin Griffith getting the call, and they go right back to the guy who coughed it up the last time they had it. Zach Thomas making the tackle after a 6-yard pickup, and that should be the last play of the first quarter. Both teams like to run, and that's what we've seen in this game so far. Although the Falcons have 51 of the 61 rushing yards, and for Jim Mora's Falcons, they lead after 1 quarter of play against the Dolphins to the tune of 7-0. We start the second quarter. Dick Stockton, Darrell Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. Atlanta leading 7-0 over Miami as we start the period. And the Dolphins, when they're leading at the end of any quarter in the game, they haven't lost, but they haven't won when they've trailed at the end of any quarter. So the omens continue to fall here, and 2nd down and 4 coming up for the Falcons, who are giving Warwick Dunn a rest. He has scored a touchdown, but averaged under 2.5 yards per carry. Justin Griffith and Fred McCrary are the 2 backs behind Michael Vick. And the handoff is to Griffith. Griffith only needed 4 yards for the first down, and he's very close to it. Jeff Scanina making the stop.
Justin Griffith is one of those kind of unknown fullbacks in the NFL, and with the injury to TJ Duckett, they've taken him and put him at halfback, and he's running behind Fred McCrary, and he gets in there and he just moves the pile and gets enough yards for the first down. But he's very athletic too. He's a great down the field receiver. He's one of the fullbacks that's out there. He's young, that I don't think a lot of people know about, but he's definitely somebody to watch. You see the versatility. He can play either position and be a contributing factor in both of those spots.
They really missed Duckett, though. 4 touchdowns this year on the ground. He's the short yardage guy. And there is Vick in trouble, firing it up to no one in particular except one of the Falcons in the bench. And it was Kevin Carter again putting the pressure on Michael Vick, who thus far has accounted for 103 total yards.
Well, one of the things that you forget about is just the toll that this takes on Michael Vick. Number one, as a mobile quarterback, he's doing a lot of running. He's going to get tired anyways because of how athletic he is and running around, running the boots and the different plays they call. But then all of a sudden you add on top of that these hits. We've seen a couple that have been late, but the more you can hit him, the more you can tire him out. You challenge his effectiveness late in the game and especially in the fourth quarter.
Darrell, that was his first incompletion in 8 tries. 2nd down and 10. The handoff is to Dunn. And Warwick Dunn will make it Griffith this time. Knocked back. Justin Griffith and Carter again making the play. This is a tough interior defense we're seeing from Miami.
Watch this hit. Watch Justin Griffith right there when he gets hit. I mean, that's the second time we've seen him kind of like out on his feet. You know, it's a boxer that takes a big punch. And this is a very physical game. Tony talked about it being some old-style football. Man, there are some big hits out there. Kevin Carter got him good.
Smash
That's a knee buckler.
Woo. Smash mouth game it is, Tony. You called it 3rd down and 11 from the 36-yard line. Penalty flag is down, and Vick spinning his way, and he's down at the 35-yard line. But there is a penalty marker. David Bowens was the defensive lineman who got to Michael Vick back at the 35, a loss of 1. And we'll check the call.
Illegal formation, offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
The Falcon defense is getting great pressure right now, and they're doing it with their down 4. And that is so important when you're playing against Michael Vick. When you can drop 7, or if you can get it with 3 and drop 8, you really start to clog those passing lanes for him. So those guys down on the defensive line for the Miami Dolphins are getting it done right now against a good Falcon offensive line.
Michael Kanan, rookie from Western Washington, will be kicking, and Wes Welker back deep for the Dolphins. Short kick, and Welker will let it bounce, and it kind of dies there at the 35-yard line, and so the Dolphins will get pretty good field position. So the Falcons defense now will try to stop the Dolphins after the break.
I used to move snowflakes by the OZ. I guess even
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new 2006 Ford Explorer, the best Explorer ever. By Singular, raising the bar. By KFC's $4 meals, all the quality of a casual dining meal at half the price. And by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL.
And now the Falcon defense will have to contend with Ricky Williams, who had his best day coming off the 4-game suspension that started the year with 82 yards last week against the Saints. Dolphins starting on the 36-yard line, and the handoff to Ricky Williams, who darts forward to the 42-yard line, a pickup of 5 yards. And right now for a game break, let's check in again with James Brown.
Hey, Dick, take a look at Tampa Bay getting back in it. Chris Sims at the helm, back deep post to Joey Galloway. Look at the air up under this one. 50-yard strike to Joey Galloway, his 6th receiving touchdown of the season. All right, Tampa Bay's back in at 10-7. That in the second. Back to Dick, Darrell, and Tony.
They sure are, and of course 3 teams tied at 5-2 in the NFC South. One of them will go to 6-2, and here's Farad backing up off balance, but wide open is Chris Chambers, and Chambers goes out of bounds. So the big play of the game for the Dolphins thus far, and it's good for 24 yards with D'Angelo Hall on the coverage.
Well, good poise by Gus Farad in the pocket because the protection was breaking down right in front of him, and he buys himself a little time. You see the running backs get up, they're picking up the stunts, but it's all kind of falling apart. He buys some time, stays in the pocket, gets the ball downfield to Chris Chambers. This is something that doesn't happen very often for this Dolphin offense. They are not a vertical down-the-field passing game. One of the areas they've struggled in. They're going to come out and throw some quick passes, try and pick up 5-6 yards.
And Ricky Williams on first down from the 36 is backed up, and now he cuts upfield. He got more than he should have from the way things started to look, and he gets 3 yards before Demario Williams making the tackle. The Atlanta Falcons, of course, have had a lot of changes in their defensive unit. Demario Williams moving to the weak side linebacker, Keith Brooking, who was on that side, now the middleman, and Michael Boley, a very impressive rookie on the strong side. So they had a lot of shifting done for Atlanta.
Yeah, one of the reasons they've kind of struggled in their run defense because they're just starting to gel together as a group. Tough to build that chemistry when you've got so much change.
2nd down and 7. Dolphins on the Falcon 33-yard line. Straight drop and the quick out to the right side, and it's caught by Chambers again, and a first down for the Dolphins inside the 25. Keon Carpenter on the coverage that time. 10 yards for Chambers, and it looks like that combination is working here in the first half.
Yeah, they're starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm here with their passing game. And, you know, we talk about the Falcons, and we thought the big matchup for the Miami Dolphin offense was some success in the running game. But right now, Gus Farad's getting into a little bit of a rhythm on this drive.
First down on the 23. 4 minutes gone by here in the second. They go again to Williams. Ricky Williams bursting forward, and Ricky Williams will score. Touchdown. And that is his first touchdown as a member of the Miami Dolphins, and he is mobbed by his teammates.
A little bit of success in the passing game is kind of the same thing. It's going to come and bend back this way. Ricky Williams a little bit quicker maybe, a little bit leaner right now. Still tough to bring down, but boy, he's still got that burst.
23 yards for the score, and his first touchdown, of course, this year, and he wants to hold on to the ball after all that happened to him. All the time he sat out, the problems, you can see he's a lot lighter than he used to be. Orlando Mare with the extra point. And it ties the score at 7-7. So Ronnie Brown first, Ricky Williams second. Williams scores to tie the game.
Great vision by Ricky Williams. Here's your fullback block, and your guard is pulling. Watch the effect it has on this linebacker, and then a great block by Marty Booker here on the defensive back. But this play is designed to go to the right. They're trying to punch a hole to the right. Ricky Williams, a great field, gets backside, and here comes Marty Booker right there with a block on Keon Carpenter, and then Ricky Williams makes the guy miss in the hole. Great vision on that play. I mean, that's designed to go all the way to the right.
Orlando Mare with the kickoff. Short of the end zone, Allen Rossum at the goal line. And Rossum finally goes down at the 15-yard line, and a flag is down. Penalty marker down. Sammy Morris. Great pursuit by Miami, and this is an inspired special teams outfit that they exhibited thus far.
Illegal block in the back. Number 53, return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, that's going to set the Falcons back as John Leak commits the call. And after this, the Dolphins defense takes the field. And they are in good field position.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by DirecTV. Get DirecTV DVR and record your favorite shows with a touch of a button.
Back here to Dolphin Stadium, and right now the worst starting field position for the Falcons. They'll be on the 8-yard line. And this is where you can see the signals by the Dolphins defense. They want the crowd really to get into the game here. First down. Warwick Dunn is the tailback. Algie Crumpler going in motion. And on the slant, great catch made by Roddy White, the rookie in his NFL debut, and a pickup of 15.
A good play right there. The Falcons have got to do something to grab this momentum back. They came out and got off to a great start, but Miami's really taking it away from them right now. Tony, you got any feel down there on the sideline when you think that happened?
You know, the momentum swing on that big hit, it wasn't just the fumble, it was the hit that was applied on the fumble that really changed it down here. They were going in, it was going to be 14-0. The Dolphins didn't do anything with it on that series, but that hit made the difference down here so far, Moose.
First down on the 23, and here is Vick settling back and escapes a leaping Junior Seau, but can he get away from the cornerback, Travis Daniels? No, and Daniels makes a stab at him, so Daniels showing some speed on his own, and Vick winds up with a 3-yard pickup.
I mean, momentum is something that's tangible on the field, and here's what Tony's talking about right here. A big hit by Channing Crowder on Justin Griffith. That's down inside the 10-yard line. And it's just something like that. It doesn't have to be a huge play. You know, the fumble, obviously the turnover in the red zone, but it's all that hit. You know, Tony mentioned that the physical hit by Channing Crowder.
It could have been the hit on Michael Vick if there wasn't a flag, which we thought was suspicious anyway.
Second down and 7, and here is Dunn. And Dunn has not been able to get on track thanks to people like Zach Thomas. A loss of 1 yard on the play. Dunn has gained a total of 17 yards rushing thus far in the game. About 2 yards a carry.
Moose, Kevin Carter is such a factor down here. He is totally dominating the left side of the Dolphins defense. I mean, he's just pounding it, putting pressure. He's really a big reason why they're having the success they are right now.
Yeah, he just fought through a double team right there by Keenan Forney and Todd Weiner, split him and almost made the tackle on top of it.
Carter won a Super Bowl ring with the St. Louis Rams. He and Jason Taylor among the leaders of career sacks in the NFL, and the pass is caught by Roddy White. So that way it would have been a mistimed play as far as Roddy White and Travis Daniels, who was defending him on the play. It was Daniels who missed. It looked like he could have made the play.
Yeah, well, here comes your blitz right here. The Falcons do a good job giving Michael Vick the time to get it off. Boy, Algie Crumpler came all the way from the other side to get some protection. And then on the outside, there's some good timing developing. Now, this is going to be a process that Michael Vick comes through. There's Algie Crumpler coming across to get Lance Schulters, but you see right there, good timing. He was covered well by Travis Daniels, but he got it fitted in there.
20-yard gain and a first down on the Falcon 45. Winding down to 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Play fake, but here come the Dolphins on the blitz, and the pass is caught by Warrick Dunn, and Dunn slithers his way close to first down yardage as he gets into Dolphin territory, picking up about 9, and ultimately Junior Seau brought him down.
I think we get focused so much on Warrick Dunn in the running game, but the Atlanta Falcons are one of the really good screen teams in the NFL, and it's difficult to do. I think that we see the screen pass and we think that every team should run it, but the coordination between quarterback, offensive lineman, and the running back that's in the screen, very difficult. You've got to have the right people. The Falcons have got a good group and run that play effectively.
Second
the offensive
down.
line has to sell it also, Moose. They have to sell it up front in order for it to be successful.
Second down and 1, and it looks like Dunn has enough yardage for the first down before he is thrown back. And of course, it's an offensive line that you have mentioned before, a zone blocking line, similar to what the Denver Broncos have used to success in their running game.
Yeah, well, Alex Gibbs, he was hired to come to the Falcons and establish the same thing, but we talked about it earlier. The bootleg that goes in conjunction with this zone blocking scheme, you look at the teams who are really good at it, it's Denver and it's Atlanta, and you have to look at the quarterback, Jake Plummer and Michael Vick. They're both mobile, and they do a good job getting out the back door on naked bootlegs.
From the 45-yard line, here's an end around to Roddy White, giving the rookie a lot of work today, and it's paying off. Roddy White getting to the 32-yard line of first down and a gain of 15. And right now, for a game break, let's again check in with James Brown.
Hey, Dick, ask Darrell, is this how they drew it up in the book here? Take a look at Brad Johnson. I'm not quite sure whether that was a shuffle or an attempt at a pass, but nonetheless, it worked. That to Michael Bennett, 5 yards. 10-0 Vikings are looking for their 7th straight win over the Lions. Back to Dick, Darrell, and Tony.
JB, they call that the muffle pass. It's the missed shuffle pass, shovel pass. As long as it gets you 6, no questions asked.
From the 29, Michael Vick's pass, and it's knocked away from Algie Crumpler. Great play made downfield. And Sam Madison did not play last week, but he already has made an impact here.
Sam Madison comes over, gets a deflection. He had two guys in his area. Sam Madison is covering a third of the field with two defenders, one going down the sideline, one going down the numbers, and is able to make a play on the ball to knock away a completion. Somebody made a mistake out there. He's outside on Brian Finneran. He's got him. Now somebody turns Algie Crumpler loose. Look at the reaction by Sam Madison right there. What a great job.
Hip pointer kept him out of action last week against the Saints. And on the draw play, here's Warrick Dunn. He's got some running room. Warrick Dunn shakes off one defender and finally dragged down out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. So the Falcons with big plays so far in this game. That was good for 21 yards. Lance Schulters had a shot at him and missed. And now the Falcons in business again.
Well, he's coming right at you. Let's see if you can tackle him. I mean, this guy is shifty. I thought Lance Schulters had him right there. He runs right out of that one. Little stumble, still gets up. And this is, Brian Finneran has earned his way back on the field. Well, he's manhandling Sam Madison out there on the outside. If you're going to have 20-plus yard runs, you've got to have guys blocking down the field at your wide receiver position.
They all talk about Michael Vick, but Dunn, remember, is one of the top rushers in the league. First and goal at the 8-yard line, and here is Justin Griffith. And Griffith is stopped about a yard short of the end zone by Matt Roth, picking up 6.5 yards on the play. So if you like the old-fashioned style smash mouth football, as Tony promised us at the beginning, with the modern-day speedster, you got it all here.
Yeah, it's kind of a dichotomy right now. We're talking about old-style smash mouth football with a strong running game, and then you've got probably the greatest modern-day athlete to play the quarterback position in Michael Vick, and they're really blending it together well for this Falcon offense.
Second and goal at the 1. Vick. Touchdown, Finneran. Brian Finneran with the touchdown reception, and the penalty marker is down right about the line of scrimmage.
It's like holding, guys.
Holding. Offense. Number 76. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Kevin Schaefer, the left tackle, and that could be critical if they don't get 6 ultimately on this drive.
They get the holding penalty. Somebody turned Jason Taylor loose. He gets a hit right there. He's lucky now. He held back a little bit. Didn't go helmet to helmet. Kind of went face mask to face mask with him. But they're getting some hits on Michael Vick. They're trying to wear him down.
And them hits, little by little, Moose, the more you hit a quarterback, the more it slows him down. I mean, it's tough to slow him down, but it's always nice to get a hit and try and wear him out a little bit.
Second and goal from the 11 now. And here's Michael Vick overthrowing Roddy White. And Roddy White covered in the end zone by Sam Madison. And it'll be third down and goal. So we'll see whether that penalty really becomes a factor here, as Jim Mora, who in his first year as head coach guided the Falcons to an 11-5 season in the NFC title game. Remember, this franchise, meaning the Falcons, have never had back-to-back winning seasons.
That's amazing. And they've had some good teams. Amazing they haven't been able to string that together from one season to the next.
Crumpler is going in motion in a slot formation. Third down and goal, and a flag is down. The pass caught by Finneran for the touchdown, but there's another penalty marker.
Offsides defense, I think.
You're right, Vic. Applauding it. The penalty will be against Miami. Tony, you're right on it, and that should count.
Offsides, defense, number 30, penalty is declined, touchdown.
Penalty on Lance Schulters.
Here's your guy right here. He's coming on a blitz with Zach Taylor. He just mistimes it. A little bit of the change of the cadence. He's trying to time that blitz up, and he gets into the neutral zone. Michael Vick, zip, right to Brian Finneran. That's twice that Brian Finneran and Algie Crumpler right in that same area. I don't know what's going on.
Extra point, Todd Peterson is good, and it's 14-7. So second time was a charm to Finneran. This time an 11-yard reception at 4:40 remaining in the half. 14-7 Falcons. Brian Finneran on the touchdown catch as you look at the 92-yard scoring drive. But let's not forget the rookie Roddy White getting his first NFL start. Caught 2 passes for 35 yards. Also ran for 16 on one occasion. And that's what they expected from White out of UAB. First-round pick, bothered by a high ankle sprain in preseason, and the deep kick will result in a touchback, and the Dolphins will start out at the 20-yard line. And while we have a moment, let's check in again with JB on a game break.
Louisiana hooking up here. Big play indeed to Ricky Proehl, 62 yards on the mark. That set up Stephen Davis. 1-yard touchdown run. Stephen Davis now with 11 rushing touchdowns on the season. 17-7 Panthers, who have won 4 straight over the Buccaneers. Back to Dick, Darrell, and Tony.
All right, JB, and of course the Falcons know that they still have home-and-home games with both the Buccaneers and the Panthers in the second half of this season. First down on the 20-yard line. Penalty flag. Looked like one of the Falcons had jumped. Pass by Perrott is deflected.
Gotta take advantage of those if they don't shut that down. Everybody kind of hesitated for a second.
You don't get many free plays.
Offsides. Defense. Number 96. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Antoine Lake. So it'll be a 1st and 5 coming up.
If you're unabated to the quarterback, they're going to step in and shut the play down. But Antoine Lake, he's trying to get back, and you see everybody on the outside kind of hesitated. They got out of rhythm and missed an opportunity for a free shot down the field.
1st and 5 on the Dolphin 25. Gus Perrott's pass right through the hands of Chris Chambers. Couldn't ask for a better throw. Well, the NFL on Fox coming up next week. It'll be week 10, and there'll be a Fox doubleheader. Many of you will see the Minnesota Vikings, who lead the Lions today against the Giants, who have a West Coast road game. They haven't yet won on the road, and the Redskins and the Buccaneers. Most of you will see that game in the second half of our doubleheader. So the Redskins also have a date coming up with the Eagles before they play Tampa Bay next week. Following the incompletion, 2nd down and 5. Ricky Williams. Not this time, as the Falcons just closed all the running lanes down and a loss of 1. And credit Chauncey Davis, the rookie from Florida State, who has started a couple of games at defensive end.
I just think that when you're shifting your personnel the way the Dolphins are on offense, that's Darian Barnes coming off the field. Now, he's your true fullback. So when he's on the field with Ronnie Brown or Ricky Williams, you're going to get a certain style of running game. You're going to get some power runs inside the tackles. Now, when they get those 2 guys in together, you're going to have some open formations. You're going to be worried about single back runs. So they've got to continue to mix it up, or Atlanta's got a good tip-off on what to expect and how to defend it.
Seems like an obvious passing down, and lineman moving, and a plane blown dead before the snap. And it see if again it's offside.
78. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Geno James, and there is Davis, Chauncey Davis, hurting after that last play, being tended to on the sideline. They have a whole slew of outstanding rookies for the Falcons, with Babineau, who started today, Chauncey Davis, Michael Boley, who starts at linebacker.
They've got a young group out there, 7 guys that'll be on the field on that defense that are 1st or 2nd year players.
3rd and 11. After the penalty, backed up to the 19-yard line. Gus Perrott with a low toss to Ronnie Brown. Couldn't handle it. Looked like he started a run before he made the catch, so it'll be 4th down and time to punt for the Miami Dolphins, and Atlanta looks at good field position perhaps.
Well, we just had a discussion about Miami taking the momentum away from the Falcons. The Falcons went 92 yards, scored a touchdown, and then their defense came out and forced a 3-and-out. So they have just taken it right back from the Miami Dolphins.
And you just asked me what the time of possession would be, and it's 17.5 minutes for Atlanta, only 9 minutes for Miami. And last week it was Miami with the great time of possession. That's how you run the ball. And Allen Rossum on a great high kick, kicking it around. It's anybody's football. And the Miami Dolphins will have it. Another big break for the Dolphins inside the 10-yard line. Jeremiah Bell makes the recovery, and it was a great punt that time by Donnie Jones, and Rossum just messed up.
A classic situation of don't take a bad play and make it worse. Allen Rossum is trying to prevent a bad play, and by kicking the ball, he turns it into a terrible play. Now, all that momentum we just finished talking about it. It jumps all the way back to the Miami Dolphins.
Donnie Jones running upfield.
It's like a quarterback that threw a long pass for the completion.
Yelling, "Hooray for us!" First down at the 14-yard line of the Falcons. And a timeout called by the Atlanta Falcons. They want to get things straightened out. We'll be right back. Falcons calling a timeout, and the Dolphins threatening, trailing 14-7. There's no question. We just talked about how the Atlanta Falcons have outplayed the Dolphins thus far, but 2 critical turnovers keeping Miami in the game at this point.
Well, one going in for points and another one inside the 15 to give Miami a chance for points.
Nick Saban hoping his team can take advantage. First down on the 14. Ronnie Brown back in the game at running back, and he gets the call. And Brown running it down to about the 7. A short gain of 2 yards. Brian Scott, the free safety, on the tackle. 3 minutes remaining in the first half.
All right. Football coaches, football players, we're all creatures of habit, and right there they go to the exact same play that Ricky Williams took in for a touchdown from almost the exact same spot on the field. It worked once, go with it again. Maybe they haven't figured it out yet.
You saw a glimpse of what is the red zone, which is inside the 20-yard line. Second down and 9. Play action and the pass into the end zone. Unable to make the leaping catch is the tight end Randy McMichael.
They're just missing opportunities right now. We saw Chris Chambers with a miss on one. Randy McMichael makes this catch. I mean, he's athletic enough. The ball's got a lot of zip on it. I've seen Randy McMichael make that catch before. In a game like this, you've got to come down with a big play to keep that momentum on your side.
And you can see where the Dolphins have struggled in the red zone this year. 27th in the league. It'll be third down and 9. And if you're Miami, you know you're going against a 5-2 team. You've got to take advantage of these opportunities. And the handoff to Ronnie Brown, and a timeout was called before the play ran off. So Nick Saban wanted a timeout, and he got it before the play. And that is the first timeout called by the Dolphins. Chauncey Davis, the defensive end, on his way into the Falcons locker room. You saw him shaken up a few plays ago. 2:31 remaining in the half. Jonathan Babineau and Patrick Kearney are the defensive ends in there. Brady Smith unable to play with a dislocated toe. A third down and 9 here for the Dolphins. Sammy Morris is in the game as a back. This is a passing formation for Gus Frerotte. And Frerodte's pass to McMichael. McMichael tackled inside the 10-yard line, short of the first down. So they go to the tight end on an out pattern, a pickup of 3 yards with Chad Lavallee and Allen Rossum predominantly making the tackle.
Watch all the red jerseys get to the football in this play. You're going to throw it out to the left to Randy McMichael. He's going to catch it. He makes an inside cut. Even if he's not wrapped up there, look at everybody coming. I mean, there's nothing you can do. This is one of the cornerstones of Ed Donatell's defense is pursuit to the ball.
And they're going to let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning before the field goal attempt. And that's what we have here with the score. The Falcons 14 and the Dolphins 7.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Here's Michael at the foul line. He shoots from Relo. No good. Michael misses. Cleveland wins. They're waving beyond your round.
If you're a fraction off, it can change everything. On the field and in the lab, where Gatorade scientists test and retest athletes so we know exactly what their bodies demand. Precision counts. Out there.
Bulls win! Bulls win!
And in here.
2 minutes remaining in the first half on a splendid day here in South Florida. Falcons leading 14-7, but Olindo Mare will attempt a field goal to try to cut the Atlanta lead to 4. This will be a 27-yard attempt. And Mare's kick is good. So the Falcons do a good job defensively of not allowing the Dolphins to score a touchdown, but they reduced the margin 14-10 in favor of Atlanta. Falcons lead the Dolphins 14-10, and a couple of Atlanta miscues has kept the Dolphins in the game, Darryl.
Yeah, it really has. One cost them points right here, the fumble by Justin Griffith on the big hit by Channing Crowner. At least a field goal attempt missed, and then Allen Rossum right there fielding a punt, trying to stop the bad play and creates a worse play. Miami recovers. They get 3 points, so possible 6-point swing right there in a 4-point ball game.
Miami had some opportunities to really capitalize on both of those plays. It really didn't take advantage, Moose. Missing some really catches that they should be making.
Well, you're right, Tony, because this team, the Dolphins, really have to show the ability to, come down the field and really get a solid drive going, something that they haven't been able to do. Meanwhile, Mr. Rossum is back there once again, and Olindo Mare kicking off with 1:56 on the clock into the end zone, and Rossum will run it out from 3 yards. And the tackle made at the 21-yard line. Michael Vick coming into the game with the second lowest passer rating. And today, Michael Vick, here is his current rating, 129.8. And of course, I think he has, well, I tell you what, he saw his brother Marcus yesterday as Virginia Tech lost to the University of Miami. Really had a down game. Miami won, so I think he wants to make amends for the Vick family today. First down at the 21 for Atlanta. Vick on the handoff to Warrick Dunn, going against the grain, and Dunn with a pretty solid run, getting 9.
I think the thing about Michael Vick, and people are critical at times of this offensive passing game because it doesn't have gaudy numbers, and with fantasy, we have become, the NFL has become a league driven by statistics, but he's about winning. And how refreshing is that to see one of the marquee players on a team put the team before him? How much do you think Philadelphia would like to have Terrell Owens have the approach that Michael Vick has for the Atlanta Falcons?
That's a great point, as Vick on 2nd down and 1 tries to throw, and the pass is caught by Finneran for a first down. How about this? Michael Vick, through 40 games, his first 40 games in the NFL, has the same one-lost record as John Elway did, 28-13. That speaks volumes, and only Dan Marino was slightly better than that.
Good company.
Screen pass out to Dunn. Dunn gets hit and runs out and stops the clock at 53 seconds at the 46-yard line after getting 4.
The West Coast system is a little bit complicated, and they are different throws for Michael Vick. I still think that he is a great deep ball thrower. He's got like that little flick release that gets a lot of velocity on the ball, but he's also got a great touch. And the thing that he has to work on in the West Coast are the short underneath control routes. He throws a fantastic deep ball. Once he gets that feel and that touch on the underneath stuff, I think that this passing offense will start to take the next steps because they've got pieces in place.
Justin Griffith has come in the game, gets the handoff on a draw play, and picks up a couple of yards. Zach Thomas with a 2-yard pickup. How about Zach Thomas, who has played for 3 different head coaches in his career and different defensive alignments, and as a small linebacker, as a timeout is called by Atlanta. And, Zach Thomas says, I can still play the game.
And these guys outside playing a different type of game, getting a little physical out there, but this group is defined by their defense. The Miami Dolphins have been defined by their defense for several years now. And you go back, Jason Taylor and Dak Thomas have been together for quite some time, and those are the names that you hear. And it's been such a long time since the offense of the Miami Dolphins was known as a group that you could count on. It's always been this defensive group here.
Falcons are 5 for 6 on 3rd down conversions. They need 4 yards here on their own 47. 1 timeout left for Atlanta. Michael Vick going to Finneran and overthrows him.
Well, most of the time he has a good touch on his deep ball.
Want to remind you, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats.
40 seconds left. You're out in your midfield. You sneak a fake punt in here, Tony?
Why not?
Are you alert? Are you alert for the fake?
I don't know, man.
He's not.
You have nothing to lose.
He's not. I can tell by the sound of his voice he's not. Michael Caine will punt.
Do something exciting. Excite me.
Wes Welker. No, you love smash mouth football. Come on.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit of craziness, though, too.
Line drive kick, and Welker will let it bounce, and it will take an Atlanta roll all the way inside the 10 to the 5.
Tony, when are you going to get the message to these punt returners? They can't let that punt hit the ground.
28 seconds remaining as we take a look at the numbers so far in the game, and Atlanta has the bulk of them, and you can't figure that Gus Frerott's going to try anything fancy at this point on the 5-yard line.
No. Come out, take a knee, run something safe, get into the locker room. You're down 14-10. You've had a couple breaks you haven't taken advantage of. You saw the numbers in the rushing game. They've only got 41 yards rushing. That's the big concern, because for this group to be effective offensively, they've got to have more success in the running game. And they haven't had that here in the first half.
Well, the Miami Dolphins are very, very fortunate to be down by only 4 points to the Atlanta Falcons. Warwick Dunn with a touchdown run. Ricky Williams ran 23 yards, and Michael Vick hit Brian Finneran, a late field goal. But they're in the game, and that's what the Miami Dolphins want to do in the first year under Nick Saban as they come in 3-4. And that is the end of the first half here with the score. The Falcons 14 and the Dolphins 10. And so much riding on this game. Atlanta knowing that they're tied with Carolina and Tampa Bay for the lead in the NFC South. And if they win, they'll have a two-way tie after today.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see those two games you mentioned. They've still got the home and home against Carolina. Some big games in that NFC South.
And Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report. Darryl, Tony, and I will be back here at Dolphin Stadium after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. And right now they're setting up for the honoring the Dolphins Hall of Famers here at halftime, and Dan Marino will be presented the Hall of Fame ring, and we will also, Tony Siragusa will have a chat with Dan as well. All that coming up a little while, but right now the Visa halftime report here on the NFL on Fox.
Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa. With Visa, you're protected.
All right, Michael Vick looking very impressive, accurate in the first half, 13-17, 147 yards, and a touchdown. Falcons on top of the Dolphins, 14-10. Obviously, their passing game near the bottom of the league. TB.
Carolina Panthers running back Stephen Davis coming in with 9 rushing touchdowns on the season. After a Cadillac Williams fumble, make it 10 now. 4-yard touchdown run, 10-0 Carolina. Chris Sims, this ball will travel 62 yards in the air, folks. Beautiful strike to Joey Galloway, a 50-yard score, 10-7 Carolina over Tampa Bay. And then, as Howie likes to say, because he can't pronounce it, it's not Del Homey, it's Jake Delhomme to Ricky Prohl, 62-yard strike. Nice job. Way to go. 10-7. This is fun. Let's keep it going. Stephen Davis, give me another one. This one from 1 yard out. His 11th touchdown rushing on the season. Good ball game. Carolina 17-7 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brad Johnson leading the Vikings since Dante Culpepper is out for the season with a knee injury. Brad Johnson to Michael Bennett. 5-yard touchdown. Minnesota Vikings fired up in the first half. 10-0 over the Lions. Joey Harrington fumbles. Kevin Williams recovers for the Vikings. Mike Tice got this bunch ready to play. On the ensuing drive, what a great name. Theatric Faison, 3-yard touchdown run for this young guy. His first of his career. Vikings up 17-0. And then after a Joey Harrington interception, Brad Johnson to a wonderful catch by Nate Burleson, 24-7. Oh, hang on. The NFC North looks awfully tight now, 24-7. Vikings over the Lions.
LaDainian Tomlinson, 3 first-half touchdowns. Chargers on top of the Jets by 11. Jimmy Johnson's first-half MVP. Carson Palmer with a league-leading 17th touchdown pass. Bengals on top in that one. Priest Holmes inactive for the Chiefs. Raiders on top by a field goal in that one. Browns and Titans both into the game on 3-game losing streaks, all knotted at 7. And Jacksonville trying to get back on the winning track. Right now trailing the Texans 7-0 in that one. Michael Vick accurate with passing,
Looks
Jimmy.
Good. Yeah, JV. The Dolphins have changed their scheme of defense in that they're having some blitzes, and they're having the wide rushers to keep Vic from running the bootleg passes. Well, all he's done is 13 for 17. He has thrown the ball with accuracy. For all those that are doubting Michael Vick, he can throw the football.
Well, traditionalists can't wrap their arms around Michael Vick and the way he wins football games, but there's a reason why the Atlanta Falcons run for 188 yards a game. The mere presence as a defensive player, trust me, when you have a guy like that at quarterback, the threat of him on the bootleg on the backside opens up your cutback game. He's comfortable with Finneran and Crumpler, but he needs to expand his game to those other. And as Moose Johnson said, when he figures out the touch pass, the sky's the limit.
The hardest thing for a strong-arm quarterback to do is to figure out a touch pass. That's hard. And he's a snapper of the football, which makes it even harder.
Right. Profound.
Hey, he's very accurate.
You had a problem with something Jimmy said, though? You had a problem
It's about
with
winning.
something Jimmy said?
It's
about winning.
It's all about winning. Hey, Finneran's in there?
Dan Marino, Hall of Fame ring ceremony at halftime. Visa halftime continues after this.
My teammates, and there's so many of you here today.
Dan Marino being presented his Hall of Fame ring here at halftime, and here the continuation of his speech.
Be in the position I am in today, wearing this jacket and receiving this ring. Guys, thank you so much. And to my family, Claire, kids, thank you for your support over the years. I've set many records as a Dolphin player. A lot of things I'm very proud of in my 17 years. But the one thing I've said before, the thing I'm most proud of, is for 17 years running out of that tunnel, knowing I was the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, playing in front of the greatest fans in the world. Thank you. And this summer, I threw the perfect pass to Mark Clayton. But you know what? Mark Duper said he was open too. So I'm going to throw one to Duper. Thank you, Duper. Thank you for this great moment, Wayne. Thank you, Hall of Famer. I love you guys. Thank you.
And there you see the fans, of course, all adorned with the Dan Marino number 13 and hugging the other Hall of Famers. And here's a look at some of them. Paul Warfield, and met him before the game.
Yeah.
A thrill for you, Darryl, huh?
There's my favorite guy, Larry Zonka. Jim Langer, great center. Bob Greasy, quarterback. Larry Little. Man, God, the names, it's just unbelievable. The players that have been here. And there's the guy with the vision, Don Shula.
No one won more games than Don Shula as a head coach.
Probably the greatest center to ever play the game. Unfortunately, his career cut short.
And Nick Bonaconti. Now you're looking at the Hall of Fame bus, and this is the first time in history that the Hall of Fame has allowed the actual busts outside of the grounds of Canton, Ohio. That's never happened before, and they allowed them to be shipped here to Dolphin Stadium, where they were put on display.
There's the Hall of Fame ring, and unfortunately Dan Marino never had the opportunity to get a Super Bowl ring, but hopefully that one makes up for what happened during his playing career, because you talk to guys around the league and everybody who's playing the game would love to have a chance to win a Super Bowl ring, but when you get the Hall of Fame ring, you are a special, special player in the NFL.
And this is what Hall of Fame scene looks like. Of course, the 1972 Miami Dolphins, undefeated. They always hold their breaths every year when there's a team that looks like they may do it, like the Indianapolis Colts right now. And right now, let's go down to Tony Siragusa, who is with the man, Dan Marino.
We're here with Dan. Dan, great speech. You thanked your family. You thanked everybody. There was an article in the paper this morning when I woke up, you thanking the fans here down in South Florida, but your fan base is well past those boundaries.
Well, you know what? It's just such a great honor to be that special group in the Hall of Fame and to be on that stage with 9 other Dolphin Hall of Famers. And it's a great day to be here in front of 70,000 Dolphin fans, and it's a special one for me. And I get my ring.
You got your ring. Everybody wants to see it. And
I'm glad you're here too, buddy.
Thank you, Dan. It means a lot, the ring, and just being a player that played against you. I've had a lot of respect for you, and you well deserved that ring.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
Can we get a picture of it?
Yeah, here you go.
There it is, right there.
Not sized yet, but it's getting there, right?
That's right.
Put it on this finger.
Are you gonna ever take it off?
Yeah, maybe. You never take your Super Bowl ring off, do you?
Never. You get a lot better looking when you keep your ring on, Dan. Thanks,
buddy. All right, man.
Congratulations, Dan. Back to you guys.
All right, Tony. Good job. Well done. And talking about Super Bowl rings, my partner, of course, has 3 of them. You don't wear 3 at once, do you?
No. I'm very fortunate, and the reason that we play this game is to have the opportunity to compete for one. And Dan was in the big game, but he never was able to come through the other side with a victory. But I know that one means a lot to him. You heard him refer to it. He finally got his ring. It's great to see.
Wes Welker returning the second half kickoff, brings it out short of the 30-yard line. Take a look at the first half statistics. The Falcons dominating in every area, you name it, time of possession, but the turnovers, the 2, keep Miami in contention here.
That's the critical thing right there. And they got 3 points on a field goal, and Atlanta lost some points, so possibly a 6-point swing there.
Dunn and Ricky Williams with touchdowns. Brian Finneran and Michael Vick has a TD. And for the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. Well, Ronnie Brown is in the game at running back, and Gus Barat completes the pass to Marty Booker. And a 7-yard pickup for Booker as Michael Vick is being worked on behind the bench.
It was a tough first half for him. They roughed him up a little bit, and just getting some flexibility, keeping those hamstrings loose. Getting that camera out of the way, too.
Vick 13 of 17 for 147 yards and a touchdown. Vick ran 3 carries for 29 yards. That's nearly 10 a clip. 2nd down and 3. Here's Ronnie Brown. First down for Ronnie Brown. And look how many red jerseys were chasing him, Darrell, as he crossed the first down line, gets 15 into Falcon territory.
I think early on everybody was trying to figure out, Cadillac Williams kind of burst on the scene, and everybody's like, well, why did Nick Saban go with Ronnie Brown over Cadillac Williams? And he had an up-close personal seat to watch these 2 guys play. He says he is a more complete player. Ronnie Brown, a more complete running back, will have a better career in the NFL because of that. And you see right there, he is a physical runner.
And showing it again as the physicality gets him first down yardage and more. Spins out of bounds at the 35. So a 14-yard pickup for Ronnie Brown. And like another Auburn running back, Bo Jackson was drafted to play baseball by Seattle.
You're getting into the line of scrimmage, but he's got great vision, great speed to get out of bounds. But just look at the feet. I mean, his feet are always moving forward. He never seems to be off balance. Very patient when he's running, even when he gets to the sideline. He's looking for that next guy to set up to get more yards.
And he's breaking arm tackles, too, from looking at him down here, Moose. He's making his own holes, and not one guy is taking him down with just an arm.
Brian Scott was an example of that, and the pass behind to Ronnie Brown, and Brown makes some yardage up.
Gus Barat has got to throw that ball away. That play is it's falling apart all around you. You throw the ball backwards. So now you've got a lateral. Nothing good is going to happen from there. Throw the ball, you don't have to throw it to Ronnie Brown in that situation. Throw the ball out of bounds. Get the incomplete, line back up, and play again. They're lucky that they didn't have something bad happen.
Right. It could have been a lot worse. They ended up losing 4 yards on the play. Ronnie Brown with 49 yards on 8 carries. That's 6.1 yards per carry. Ricky Williams comes into the game. He scored the Dolphin touchdown on a 23-yard run. Gets an opportunity here. Hit at the line of scrimmage and dives forward. Chad Lavallee making the play. Pickup of nearly 2 yards. So now they're using Brown and Williams back and forth. We have not seen Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams really do much in the same backfield, although that was the intention today.
Watch Ricky Williams right here. Now you're changing the play at the line of scrimmage. His toes are at 6. We're going to come up. We're going to change the play. Okay. Now everybody's trying to get it. Now Ricky resets himself, moves up to 5. They hand the ball underneath. So now right now the Falcon defense has got to look, okay, if his toes are at 5, we can expect run. If he's at 6, maybe it's a pass play. So you've got to get in a position where you can stay the same on every snap.
Penalty flag is down. Between the two, Brown and Williams have gained 81 yards rushing today.
Ball start. Offense. Number 78. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Left guard Geno James.
Well, inconsistency. When you're a team that's going through transition, and this is Nick Saban's first year with the Dolphins, and you're trying to build on something, one of the things you're going to be is inconsistent. You talked about, they're pounding the ball down here, pounding the ball. Gus Frerotte makes a poor decision. Now you've got a penalty. It's all things within the hands of the Miami Dolphins. They're stopping themselves.
3rd down and 17 on the 41-yard line out of the shotgun. Gus Frerotte has plenty of time, and his pass through the hands of Wes Welker. So Wes Welker, who's highly thought of, but it seems that this is, we talked about, not a good passing attack. That's putting it mildly as far as accuracy, receivers holding on, making tough catches.
Well, their strength is going to be the running game, and they've had a couple chances, but you got to give a little credit there to Atlanta. They got some pressure with the down lineman rushing. They're able to drop everybody back in coverage, so everybody's going to be covered up. You saw 3-4 defenders around the receiver.
Donnie Jones, who punted for Nick Saban at LSU, with the kick, and it takes a Dolphin bounce, and it is down at about the 5-yard line. So good backspin. That had to be a sand wedge. And Atlanta's backed up when they get the ball for the first time in this 3rd quarter.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Back here at the Dolphin Stadium, Dick Stockton, Darryl Johnston, and our field analyst, Tony Siragusa. Early here in the 3rd quarter, and the Falcons will start from the 6-yard line. Michael Vick, the quarterback. Warwick Dunn is the tailback. And the pass caught by Finneran. Oh, for a guy they ignored for the last 2 games, and a penalty flag is down. Finneran has become a busy receiver today. 15 yards, and the linebacker Channing Crowder downfield.
Personal foul. Yep. Late hit. Defense. Number 52. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
And it's on Channing Crowder. And one thing you could say about the Dolphins, they lack discipline at this stage.
Well, we just talked about it on the offensive side of the ball. Now we're seeing it with their defense. Brian Finneran battling Sam Madison, makes the catch. They get a late hit right there. So you've got the Falcons at the 6-yard line. You've got them in a hole. You execute your punt well. You get an opportunity to change field possession, and on the first play, you allow them to get all the way out to the 35 with the penalty.
That's the 3rd personal foul called on the Dolphins today. So some breathing room and a 1st down for Michael Vick. And Vick drills it, and the pass caught. It'll be a 1st down. Brian Finneran close to midfield. So Finneran has been the big man on the receiving end. 12-yard pickup, his 5th catch of the day.
These wide receivers have not really been a big part of this offense all season long, but they're really contributing at this point in the game, in the passing game.
How about the start of doom? This season, Atlanta 5-0 when they lead at halftime. Miami 0-4 when they trail at intermission.
Well, we had good news in the 1st quarter for Atlanta, good news in the midway of the 2nd quarter, and now we've got good news coming into the 3rd.
1st down at the 47 of the Falcons, and here is Dunn. Warwick Dunn with one of his better runs of the day, picking up 9 yards, close to the 1st down as he moves into Dolphin territory.
But if the Atlanta Falcons can put together another long drive, they had a 92-yarder in the 1st half. This one would be a 94-yarder if they go in for a touchdown here. That is an impressive offensive performance.
Greg Knapp, the offensive coordinator, who brought the West Coast offense with him from the 49ers. Jim Mora brought his defensive mind and his head coaching abilities from San Francisco. 2nd down and 1. Michael Vick with the pump fake. What's he going to do? He gets, flag is down, and Vick is hit 1st down at his 38-yard line.
It shouldn't be on Vick. It's going to be a clip.
Bonnie Holiday and Zach Thomas combined to make the hit. And a busy Scott Green will sort it out.
He's shaking his hands. It has been a physical game. There have been some big hits out on the field this afternoon.
There's no foul on the play. There's not a block in the back.
But it is a 1st down for Atlanta.
I think the fans here at the stadium were upset because they were going to get another late hit on Michael Vick, but it looked like what they were looking at was a block on Zach Thomas, I think, right at the very end here. You see him coming in. There's a block in the back. I don't know. There's hands. They're saying he got him on the shoulder.
6-yard pickup, first down on the Dolphin 38-yard line. Here's Dunn. And Warwick Dunn now cutting outside is cut down after a short gain of 3 by Zach Thomas.
We saw a hard hit right there on Michael Vick, but there's been other ones during the course of the game today. That's not one of them in my opinion, but there's a big one there. But the one thing they've done is they've gotten continuous hits on Michael Vick, which is going to take a lot out of him by the end of the game. And every opportunity they do, they're knocking him to the ground, letting him know that they're around.
And that's why he's had his ailments and his nicks during the year. The bye week helped him, came in 100% in his view, as Warwick Dunn with the carry down to the 33-yard line. 3 more yards for Warwick Dunn, and Vick, of course, missing the New England game. Matt Shaw playing in place of him, and this is what he had to face today thus far.
Yeah, the sacks are 2, but it's the hits. He's got 7 more hits, so there's 9. And 7 of those hits have knocked him down. So that's a physical day at the office for Michael Vick.
Well, they respect him, but they're not in awe of him. Going back to Tony Siragusa's comments from Jason Taylor at the start of the game. Don't treat him with kid gloves. 3rd down and 4 from the 32-yard line. And here is Michael Vick being chased by a defensive lineman, and he slides for one of the rare times, but it is another first down for the Falcons. Kevin Carter putting pressure on Vick from behind as Vick picks up 6.
You're going to get upfield. Jason Taylor gets a good jump. He gets up beyond him. Now he wants to come in the back door. Kevin Schaefer does a good job of working him continually around the pocket. And that right there, I think, is, kind of a telltale sign of what this game has been like for Michael Vick. I mean, he's going to spend some time in the hot tub tomorrow, and don't take him if you don't have to. Get down on the ground.
So he was 100% coming into this game. I wonder what it is now. First down on the 26. Under 7.5 to play in the 3rd. Dunn. And Dunn is tackled by Lance Schulters after a 3.5-yard gain. So another long drive by the Falcons. As you mentioned, Darryl, a 92-yard drive in the second quarter, 71 in the first. And, of course, all of them have been helped by penalties against the Miami defense.
Well, if they're not turning the ball over, we talked about the Dolphins doing some things to disrupt their rhythm during the course of the game. But, Atlanta the same way. They've had those critical turnovers down inside the red zone, and they missed opportunities on the fumbled punt.
2nd and 6. Play action. And there's Vick. And he flips it out to Warwick Dunn. And Dunn trying to juke his way for more. And he lost the ball. A fumble. And recovered by Warwick Dunn. And the ball did not go out of bounds. It stayed in bounds. Zach Thomas forced the ball being jarred loose, but Dunn recovered.
The runner touched the ball from out of bounds, making the ball dead at that spot. 3rd down.
You tell me, how do you defend this guy? He's booting out to his right. He stops. He turns around. He's coming back the other way. You've got him in your grasp, and you just can't get to him.
Moose, the funny thing about it, when we met with him yesterday, and he says watching film is almost pointless because every time I go against the defense, I never see what they did in the previous few weeks. And that's why, because this guy is not the normal guy that you can just go and defend week in and week out.
It's always something new, Tony. And here is Vick completing it to Roddy White. Roddy White diving inside the 5. And fortunate that he didn't lose the ball as you saw the ball outstretched. Sam Madison on the hit. 15 yards here.
Well, they're bringing pressure, so they get one-on-one on the outside. It's just a simple hitch route. Roddy White gets Sam Madison to get downfield, gets back inside of him. You see right here, here comes your pressure. Lance Schulters coming off the side. Zach Thomas coming in. It's really Roddy White and Sam Madison out there on that part of the field. They were the only 2 players down outside the numbers.
So it's 1st and goal at the 4. Warwick Dunn getting to about the 2-yard line. Remember, the Falcons started on their own 6-yard line, trying to cap a 94-yard drive here. Under 5.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd.
We saw it earlier when the Dolphins go and blitz the one offsides that they had earlier. But every time they blitz down here that I'm watching, I'm standing probably about 10 or 12 yards behind them. They're moving too early, and they're alerting the Atlanta Falcons offensive line of what's coming. So that's not what you want to do.
Second down and goal, and here is Gunn. Nothing for Warrick Gunn. He also loses his hat in the process, and it was Zach Thomas.
Well, that time Atlanta tried to come up and quick snap them, try and prevent them from doing anything in a blitz package. You see all the flow, the linebackers getting downhill. Zach Thomas, what a great feel of getting up inside and being able to find his way around all those huge bodies and get right to the point of attack against Warrick Gunn.
So it's third down and goal from the 3. And here comes the pressure, and the fade pattern is dropped by Brian Finneran. Brian Finneran was defended by Travis Daniels, and the ball got past Daniels somehow, and Finneran couldn't hold on.
Yeah, Travis Daniels mistimes his jump. He picks up the ball right here. He jumps up, but he's too early. That leaves Brian Finneran right there all by himself, but he can't finish the play.
Finneran already with a touchdown reception, and this would have been huge for the Falcons. So instead, Todd Peterson comes on for his first field goal attempt from 21 yards. And the kick is good by Peterson, who remains perfect on the year. And the Falcons have opened up a 1-touchdown lead, 17-10 over the Dolphins. We'll be right back.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Chevrolet, an American Revolution.
Hey, Tony, you were watching the blitz by the Dolphins. What'd you see on that last play, which was an incomplete pass?
Well, just what I've been seeing on every time that the Miami Dolphins go in blitz. The linebackers are showing it too early. They got to be more patient, because what's happening is that they're taking the guesswork out from the minds of the offensive linemen. They know what's coming, so they can easily pick it up.
Wes Welker returning from the end zone for the Dolphins. And Welker is hit, and the crowd yelling for a late hit by Ike Reese. It's not coming. And a timeout. We'll be right back.
Don't get me wrong, Chi-Town got it going on, and New York is the city that...
Remaining in the third, the Falcons by 7, and Ricky Williams is in the backfield for the Dolphins when they start from the 21. Their touchdown drive was 64 yards. Other than that, nothing much over 20, so they have not been able to mount much thus far today. Here's Williams on first down. Good cut outside. And head and shoulders down, running into Jason Webster and picking up 8 yards on first down.
One of the things when you get into an offense, a lot of times in the running game, you're going to follow the fullback. The fullback usually takes you to the point of attack. And that's what the Falcons are doing here. They see Darian Barnes going in. They're all stepping in. But here comes Ricky Williams out the back door again. So he's got a lot of his bigger runs on the cutback.
He has a touchdown today, 6 carries, 40 yards. That's over 6 yards per carry. Play action. And Gus Barat to his tight end, Randy McMichael, and that'll be the first down as he gets to the 34-yard line, picking up about 5 yards.
As long as they can stay away from some penalties and some things that are within their control, you know, they've been able to get on a roll for about 4 plays, 5 plays, 6 plays, but then all of a sudden they have that mistake and the breakdowns start to happen and they start going backwards, and that's it for that drive. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe they can string a couple more together this time.
2-1 at home. They beat Denver and Carolina, lost to Kansas City. All tough teams, as is the Falcons. Here's Ricky Williams again. And Williams picking up 4 on first down with Shropshire making the stop.
Let's look at these guys down inside. You know, we talked about the tackles here and here, and the middle linebacker up here. This is where you've got to go to establish your running game. Good job by Vernon Carey coming off and picking up DeMario Williams on that play.
So Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams are in the backfield. One of the few times today, 2nd and 7. Brown goes in motion, and Barat completes the pass to Marty Booker. First down at the 45, and when they've had both of those running backs in at the same time, they have passed the ball. That was an 8-yard gain.
Well, it's one of the tendencies that we'll talk about. You know, it kind of tips the defense's hand, because what are you going to do? Are you going to put Ricky Williams or Ronnie Brown in as the lead blocker so you can kind of get away from any, you know, traditional running game in between the tackles? What they'll do, they'll open the formation with one of them and get them on the outside and run one back running plays, or as the graphic is showing there, they're going to be a predominant passing team out of that personnel group.
First down at the 45-yard line of Miami, and here is Ricky Williams moving the pile as he powers his way into Falcon territory, getting 6 yards. So they're going to stick with the run, though they're down by 7.
Watch your fullback, number 36, Darian Barnes. He's going to go in. We've talked about a hard-hitting game. Another big collision right there with Keith Brooking. Gets him turned to the outside, allows Ricky Williams to get back inside.
Second down and 4 at the 49-yard line of Atlanta. And they give it to Ricky Williams, and not much there. Williams maybe a yard. And we're getting close to the 1-minute mark here in the third quarter. Falcons leading 17-10, took a 7-0 lead on a Warwick Dunn 1-yard touchdown run and an impressive opening drive, but not nearly as impressive, a 92-yard drive in the second quarter, resulting in a touchdown and a field goal after 91 yards. Ronnie Brown back in there, third down and 3. And Farad back to throw, swing pass to Brown, but he drops it. But I think even if he had caught the pass, I think the Falcons had more than enough defenders out on his side.
Yeah, and you know, you're going to get into a short passing game. You've got your two best playmakers are Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams on the offensive side of the ball. So you're trying to get the ball in their hands, but you know, you're crossing your running back across the face of the quarterback, swinging him out wide. It's such a slow developing play. The Falcons defense is based on speed. They're watching that play develop. You're going to have 3, 4, 5 guys out there waiting for him to catch that pass.
That's a lazy defense play, Moose. And that's not, and the Atlanta Falcons are not a lazy defense.
Donnie Jones to kick, and Allen Rossum will let the ball bounce. And it's down by the Dolphins at the 22-yard line. It seemed that the best success Miami had when they ran was running up the middle against Atlanta. We'll be right back.
NFL Sunday is sponsored by Chevrolet and American Revolution. By Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. By FedEx Express, international shipping made easy. And by Miller Lite. On your next beer run, grab some great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Miller, good call.
Gus Farad has completed 9 of 16 for 76 yards. Hasn't made a mistake, but hasn't managed the team down to any impressive drive. You saw Jason Garrett, the quarterback coach, with him. Meanwhile, the Falcons with a first down on the 22-yard line. Justin Griffith is in the game as the chief running back, but Michael Vick looking to throw. And the pass falls nowhere. No man's land. It was past Algie Crumpler and in front of Brian Finneran. On the last drive, which resulted in a field goal, Vick was 4 for 5 for 44 yards, and he ran twice for 12. So he has 191 yards passing and 41 yards rushing today. And his passer rating today is astronomical.
We'll have to see what everybody says now.
Second
about Michael Vick and his passing abilities.
And Griffith with a short game. Milwaukee Thomas, who has looked very impressive as a nickelback, holds him to a 1-yard pickup.
Now, the one thing that we lose sight of, and you know, they've actually done a good job against this Falcons offense, but they have been out there a long time, and that's because their offense has struggled.
8 minutes worth. That's the end of the third quarter with the score, the Falcons 17 and the Dolphins 10. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
And welcome back to Dolphin Stadium. You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. Dick Stockton, Darrell Johnston, Tony Siragusa. We begin the fourth quarter with the Falcons leading 17-10. Third down and 9 at the 23-yard line for the Falcons. And Michael Vick taking some punishment today. And the catch is made for the first down to the 35. And a fine reception is made by Algie Crumpler.
Well, one of the things that this team is very good is converting third downs, and here comes Algie Crumpler right up the hash marks for you. Just runs down, pivots. He's right in between the two defenders. But the timing and the feel between Michael Vick and Algie Crumpler, it's hard to defend that. Zach Thomas, they're trying to get there as fast as they can, but it's done so well. Jeremiah Bell coming from the other side, they can't close fast enough.
Justin Griffith, and Griffith. They lose a yard on the play.
I'll tell you what, that guy's going to need some aspirin after this game. He has taken some huge hits.
Or something like aspirin.
Something that helps him out.
That's TJ Duckett, who unable to play, inactive the last 2 games with a high ankle sprain, and really could use him because he's one of the centerpieces of the #1 rushing attack in the league.
You see him holding the ball over there, though.
Yeah, he's all fired up. I was going to mention that, Moose. He's had that ball the whole time on the sideline. He looks like he's ready to go. Just put a helmet on him.
Second down and 10. And this pass is caught, but short of the first down by Brian Finneran. And it was Sam Madison who made the hit. Forward progress was in front of the sticks.
Well, he has really stepped up today. And, there's been some unsettling things about the distribution to the wide receivers among their group. They're trying to show that they've got the plays going that way. Keenan Forney's down right now. But, it's just a matter of opportunities. Brian Finneran is taking advantage of them. And a lot of them have come against Sam Madison. He's playing against a good corner today.
Yes, he is. And we're going to take a timeout. Finneran, by the way, 7 catches for 90 yards. This after 2 games in which he was ignored. Not today.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Cadillac. Introducing the new 2006 DTS Cadillac Breakthrough. By the City Simplicity Credit Card. City, live richly. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. It's in the NFL. Is it in you? And by TGI Fridays Restaurants Jack Daniel's Grill. Everyone could use more Fridays.
And welcome back to the sands of South Florida, and here a sellout crowd at Dolphin Stadium after a Miami timeout. Third down and 1 for the Falcons on their 43-yard line. And here's Warwick Dunn, and he gets more than enough. And for a game break, let's check in quickly with James Brown.
Hey, Dick, as you know all too well, Steve Smith of Carolina having an outstanding season. Talk about comeback player of the year. Look at this. Pinpoint passing from Jake Delhomme, leading receiver in the NFL, his 9th receiving touchdown. Carolina all over Tampa Bay. Howie said Tampa Bay can't beat Carolina. Back to Dick, Darrell, and Tony.
You wonder, Darrell, whether Tampa Bay will be able to keep up with the Carolina and Atlanta.
They were really exposed last week in San Francisco. Carolina is considered one of the better teams in the NFCs, but the one last week against the San Francisco 49ers was a shocker.
Nick just fired this up, and Roddy White was the closest to it as Jason Taylor putting the rush on Michael Vick. Respects him, but doesn't put him on a pedestal, and that's what Jason Taylor told us. And Tony Siragusa mentioning that at the outset today.
You can't get too far from what you do, though. If your defense calls for certain things, you can't change too much just to defend Michael Vick. You've got to stay with your base defenses and take your shots at him.
Second and 10 at the 47, and here's Warwick Dunn trying to work his way into Dolphin territory. Knocked back, but they'll give him the 49-yard line and a 3-yard pickup for Warwick Dunn.
The one thing Atlanta has done, they've just really controlled the flow of the game today. Both lines of scrimmage, you see right there what he's been able to do at this point in the game. You think you're focusing on stopping the guy because they're trying to take time off the clock in the fourth quarter, run the ball, and yet Warwick Dunn has been extremely productive in these situations when everybody is keying on him.
Falcons trying to win their 3rd in a row, be the first time they've managed that. And they're leading by 7. 3rd down and 7 on the 49-yard line of Miami. And here is Michael Vick, and he goes to Crumpler on the screen. Algie Crumpler Doesn't need many blockers in front of him. Hurdles over a defender. Jeremiah Bell makes the tackle after he jumped over Travis Daniels. 9 yards for the Falcons and a first down again.
I don't know what you do there. You get Michael Vick going out to the left. So all your attention focuses over there. You get worried about his playmaking ability on that side, and they slide Algie Crumpler out to the right. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
It's hard to concentrate on. Who do you concentrate on? Michael Vick, Warwick Dunn, Crumpler? I mean, where do you go as a defender? It's tough out there, Bruce.
Very tough.
Pick your poison.
That's it.
Keenan Forney back in the game at right guard. First down at the 40 of the Dolphins. Still plenty of time remaining here in the fourth quarter. Vick drills it, and it's caught at the 35 by Crumpler again. Only one time today that he wasn't able to hold on to the ball, and many of them have been lasers. That was a 6-yard pickup with Schulters all over him.
That's a great description, Dick. From down here on the field, those balls are like darts. I mean, he is throwing, and his feet aren't always planted when he throws the ball. It's total arm strength from the way he throws.
You know, despite it all, guys, I would think that the Falcons really want to get a touchdown here because they've been, you know, one touchdown lead and then a mistake, and then Miami's back in the game, and I think they need a breathing room of something like 14 points or so. Second down and 4, and the pitch to Warwick Dunn. Off the outside, and Warwick Dunn close to another first down. See where they spot the ball. Chased out of bounds by Tillman, and he will be shy by about a yard or so.
It's 17-10. It's a one-possession game,
right.
and anything can happen. An interception return for a touchdown. You know, special teams jumps in, blocks a field goal, runs it back, runs a punt return back. You know, it can happen anyway.
And what a difference a week makes. Saints 0 for 11 on third down conversions, held that way by the Dolphin defense today. A totally different story.
Well, that is impressive by the Falcons offense. 10 of 13 on third down. More opportunities, and you can't have 90-plus yard drives unless you're having a day like that on third down.
And you know, a lot of them moves have been 3rd and 1 like we're seeing right here. Play action. And Vick tosses it for Finneran. They'll make it Dwayne Blakely. And the pass is broken up. Good defensive play by Tavares Tillman, the strong safety. And fourth down coming up, and right now let's check in with JB on a game break. James.
Hey, Dick, Joey Harrington trying to rally something at the start of the fourth quarter for Detroit. Play action here, hooking up with the former Indianapolis Colts tight end Marcus Pollard. 23-yard strike. It is 24-14 Minnesota. 14:55 left in regulation. Back to Dick, Darrell, and Tony.
Well, Jim Moore agrees with you, Dick Stockton. He's going for it on 4th and short.
4th and 1. He says, I don't like a 7-point lead. I need a lot more. Let's see if the Dolphins can hold him. And the handoff. Wow. They do it. Warwick Dunn is stuck. And helping him up is Keith Traylor. Tractor Traylor, who has been a fixture as a nose tackle run stopper, a 3-yard loss, and the Dolphins will take over on downs to the delight of this capacity crowd. The Dolphins will take over after stopping the Falcons on 4th and 1, and partner, I smell a sense of pride for the Miami defense on that last play.
Oh, they have really played well all game. They've done a great job defending Michael Vick. It's their offense that hasn't really held up their side of the bargain. The defense has been out there quite a bit this afternoon. They make a huge stand right there, and you talked about it. They needed to get a touchdown because it's a one-possession game right now. The offense is back on the field. We'll have to wait and see if that defense maybe inspired them a little bit, sitting here at 17-10.
Little momentum swing, Moose. Let's see what they do with it.
Well, they've had a few of those today. Tony, you talked about it earlier, and they didn't take advantage of all of them.
Number 81, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
I mean, you just stopped the Falcons. They had 3rd and 1. You stop them on 2 downs. You take over. The crowd is with you, and a false start on your first play. That's the discipline problems that Nick Saban addressed to us, that he's obviously working to fix. First down and 15, and here is Farad out to McMichael, and McMichael down the sideline gets a good chunk of it back. In fact, he gets 12 yards back before Jason Webster knocks him out of bounds.
Well, when you really look at the lineage that Nick Saban comes from, he spent time with Bill Belichick, who's with Bill Parcells, and one of the formulas, one of the foundations about what those guys use as coaches talking to their players is don't beat yourself first, which are penalties, turnovers, the things that are within your control. You've got to handle those during the course of the game, because I just don't think people can ever appreciate how difficult it is to win a game in the NFL on a Sunday afternoon.
Second down and 3 on the 42-yard line, and the end around to Chris Chambers. And Chambers will be lucky if he gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Keon Carpenter pursuing that. We've seen a couple of gadget plays today from the Dolphins, both coming up empty.
Well, you try it. You've got an aggressive defense, and you're hoping to get them in pursuit. But Atlanta is not aggressive without being conscious of their assignment. And when you've got a group that is not only fast, but also intelligent and sound in their assignments, those types of plays aren't going to work because you're trying to take advantage of an undisciplined defense with a gadget play. And Atlanta is very disciplined in their approach.
And they're fast side to side. And that's what those gadget plays have done today. Third down and 4. And here is Farrat. And the quick pass knocked away. It was intended for Chambers, and Jason Webster with a terrific diving play to break that one up. Jason Webster, former second-round pick of the 49ers.
Well, Chris Chambers is waiting on this. This one gets out there a little late. Gives Jason Webster time to get over there and knock that ball away. You can see how frustrated he is on the sidelines.
So after the big defensive stop, 3 and out, and Donnie Jones will be kicking, and Allen Rossum back deep for the Falcons. So another opportunity, even though it wasn't good field position, goes by the boards for Miami. This one will take a hop, and Rossum is going to let it go. And here again, it'll be down inside the 10-yard line. 8:05, still plenty of time. 17-10, the Falcons, fourth quarter.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by GMC Trucks and SUVs. We are professional grade.
8:05 remaining in the fourth quarter. It'll be a first down on the 8-yard line.
And they've had bad field position all day. You see that, their own 17. But now remember, 2 of their drives that got points on came inside the 10.
And this pass through the hands of Algie Crumpler.
Crowder came through and lit Michael Vick up, guys. Right through the middle. No one even touched him on the blitz. We felt that one, Michael Vick.
I tell you what, that guy has been putting some hits on people today. That's the guy that got Justin Griffith early in the game. How do you miss that one, Tony?
That's just a bad slide. You saw 61 on that last play. Lara just go, fans out. You got to take that inside backer. You got to check in first. And that's what it helps you when you can delay with some of the blitzes. You don't show them right away. That'll help.
Here's Warwick Dunn. And Dunn getting to the 10-yard line. Warwick Dunn has not been able to really break one today. 2-yard pickup, averaging 3.5 yards per carry. Jeff Scanina making the tackle on Dunn. Once again, Michael Vick, who has nursed all sorts of injuries, and the bye week really came in handy for him. Said he was 100%. I don't know about now.
No, he's going to need another bye week after today's afternoon. And that is a long day at the office.
A quirk in the schedule.
He'd be the first guy I've ever met that ever played at 100% this late in the season, too, guys.
Third down and 8 out of the shotgun. And Vick goes down. Jason Taylor. Little piggyback job by Jason Taylor. A loss of 5 yards. Back to the 5.
What a great spin move by Jason Taylor. He's out there on the edge. Watch his first step. He's a speed guy, but watch the counter. Ty Weiner gets up there. The back is trying to cut him. What an athletic move on his pass rush.
Yeah, what a spin. That was awesome.
4th sack of the year for Taylor.
He did a nice job dancing afterwards, too. He gave me a face, nice little face there, stuck his tongue out. I don't know if that was me personally, but he looked good. I couldn't give him 5. He looked all sweaty.
He loves you, Tony.
He does.
Michael Caden will be kicking from the end zone, and Wes Welker is standing at midfield. And a high kick, and Welker does not call for the fair catch. He had the ball at the 42-yard line of Atlanta, muffed the ball, but it was recovered by Miami. Close call. Yes, they love Tony standing right behind the kicker. That's the Dolphin version of the dog pound. Made famous in Cleveland. And the Dolphins, after pinning back the Falcons and the big sack by Jason Taylor, have a first down on the Falcon 42-yard line. And the handoff is to Ronnie Brown, and Brown getting good yardage on first down. Still on his feet and actually getting to the 35. How did he do that, Moose?
I have no idea. I mean, that is one guy. You better make sure he is all the way to the ground, because he has just got tremendous balance and power. And the offensive linemen, they were all excited after this. And it takes a guy to give an effort like this, to get a group inspired who has a great chance to get down, get a touchdown, and tie a game up that they really have no business being in right now.
8-yard pickup, and now Ricky Williams joining Ronnie Brown, who now goes behind the quarterback on 2nd and 2. Handoff to Ronnie Brown. First down as he gets to the 30-yard line, and you get a glimpse, if you haven't seen him around the country, why he was the second pick in the draft out of Auburn. 4-yard gain with Chad Lavallee making the stop as we have 5:45 remaining in the fourth. What an easy day for him.
That's shocking. That is shocking to me. I mean, Patrick Kearney, you've got some really good pass rushers. The Falcons are one of the better teams in sacks. That's a credit to the offensive line.
And he passed quickly out to Chris Chambers. Chambers gets hit hard. Well, we have had hard hitting on both sides from the beginning of this game. 7-yard pickup with Keith Brooking and Brian Scott, the free safety, combining to make the play. It'll be 2nd down and short coming up now for the Dolphins. Second and 3 for Miami as Brown and Ricky Williams remain in the same backfield. There they are, surrounding Gus Frerotte. Handoff to Williams. Ricky Williams breaks something and goes in the air and goes out of bounds. And he's very close to first down yardage. If he didn't make it, he's about a half a yard short. Demario Williams missed him, and he may be about a yard shy with 3rd down coming up.
Well, one of the things, as a player in the NFL, you don't want to leave your feet because usually you get hurt. Watch the athletic ability of Ricky Williams at the end of this play. Hurdles, and he still has the strength while he's in midair. And Brian Scott can't even knock him off balance when he's in midair.
113 yards combined between Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams. It'll be 3rd down and call it 2. And Ronnie Brown with the carry, and Brown diving to the 20-yard line. Jonathan Babineau, and it's going to be close.
Well, if they got it, it's all Ronnie Brown, because Atlanta had him stopped.
They may need a measurement with 4th down coming up if they're not sure. I know Nick Saban would probably want one.
And they're coming to the left side. They get the penetration. Everything gets bottled up right there. Look how far back he is. And then look at the effort by Ronnie Brown.
He's running so well. You got all the defensive linemen even standing up watching this guy run. Jason Taylor's over there yelling, screaming for him. He's more excited to watch this guy run than watch the game, I think.
Well, if they don't have the first down, you know they've got to go for it on 4th down. There's no question about that with 4:21 to go, and they are shy by that much. And Nick Saban, you know, has got to go for it. Trailing by 7. You may not get that close again.
No, this team, they need something good to happen. I mean, not only by converting here on 4th down, but beating another good team. You know, they have knocked off Denver. They have knocked off Carolina here at home. You know, some teams are just different. When you're going through that transitional process, you're a better team at home than you are on the road. Look at San Francisco. I mean, they knocked off Tampa last week at home after getting blown out in Washington. This is going to be a great stride for this offense to take if they convert this.
4th and inches. This may be the big play of the game, and it's going to be a handoff and a first down. Ronnie Brown. And this crowd roars as Ronnie Brown gets to the 15, and now they have to separate the players from both teams. Darian Barnes.
Yeah, Darian Barnes is finishing his block. He got somebody mad at him.
Keith Brooking, I believe.
And there's Ronnie Brown right in behind him. That's Darian Barnes. He's still pushing Keith Brooking.
5-yard gain for the Dolphins, and they have a first down on the 16 of Atlanta. They need a touchdown and a conversion to tie the score as we wind close to 3.5 to go in the fourth. And Freratte's going to throw to Sammy Morris out of the backfield, and will get them about 4 yards. And where they mark it, it's only a 2-yard gain with Michael Boley, the strong side linebacker making the play.
We talked about Justin Griffith on the Atlanta Falcons team as an athletic fullback. Darian Barnes, number 36, the guy who was just wrestling there with Keith Brooking. He is a physical lead blocker. I think that the Dolphins, if they want to move ahead in this direction of being a good running team, they've got to get him more snaps with Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams as a lead blocker. Put Darian in front and rotate those guys in and incorporate that into your running game.
And here's a quick pass to Wes Welker. Welker gets hit, and a good play by Brian Scott as he slowed up Welker on the sideline, but Welker and the Dolphins get 6 nonetheless, and they now are about the 7-yard line, about 2.5 yards shy of the first down here.
You know, Moose, we talked earlier about the pursuit of the Atlanta Falcons. It's one thing that it's lacking right now here in the fourth quarter. I'm not seeing all the players like we saw earlier run to the ball, you know, gang tackling. It looks like they're almost worn down a little bit on defense.
Well, that's what the running game does, right, Tony?
Yeah, it absolutely does. But still, you know, it's fourth quarter. They're going in for a score here. You got to run the ball.
3rd down and 2. They fake to Ricky Williams on the pass, and it is Keon Carpenter with the pickoff. Carpenter with a big interception.
Well, it's kind of that formation again. I'm just not a fan of this, of getting Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown on the field together. That situation, it's 3rd and short. Get Darian Barnes on the field with one of them. Give yourself some options. There's Ronnie Brown in motion. We saw how much they become a pass team in here. I mean, that's a pretty well-covered pass play right there. You're tipping the hand to the defense of what you're going to do. They've been heavy pass when Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams have been on the field together.
And he jumped right in front to Keon Carpenter in front of Chris Chambers. And a huge interception here as the Dolphins were trying to drive in for the tying touchdown. Instead, it's a first down on the 6-yard line for the Falcons.
See if this defense has anything left in the tank.
Warwick Dunn, and he doesn't get much. That was the first interception of the year for Carpenter.
When you look at it from behind, I mean, there's nothing there. He's just trying to force one and has a critical turnover.
And a timeout called by Miami. They have 1 left. We'll be right back. Well, Keon Carpenter could be the hero today. He missed all of last season on injured reserve with an ACL. And for the Falcons, the 19th straight game they've had a takeaway. 2nd longest active NFL streak. And that's got to be a big disappointment to the Dolphins, who now have gone 17 straight turning the ball over.
Sometimes those things just follow the history of what's been going on recently. It's amazing. Yeah. You look at some of the stats and you're like, well, it's got to end at some point, doesn't it? Well, why does it? Why can't it continue to happen? It's happened that many weeks in a row. What's to say it should stop?
Not till you make it in. 2nd down and 9. And Michael Vick's pass is out to Brian Finneran, and it's caught and does not get out of bounds, so the clock continues to run, and now the Dolphins will call their 3rd and final timeout with 2:28 remaining. The ball is on the 9, but the Dolphins are running out of time and a lot of other things. Well, they're cooling off Keon Carpenter, who should get the royal treatment with that clutch interception. And for Nick Saban, looking for a stop on 3rd down. Miami is out of timeouts. So if the Falcons get a first down here, that would just about wrap things up for Jim Nora and the Atlanta Falcons. 3rd down and 6 from the 10.
Brian Finneran up the top of the screen, matched up. Looks like he's going to get some one-on-one. He's had a big day this afternoon.
This play will decide whether the Dolphins still have a breath. And here's Warwick Dunn going outside, and Dunn will finish off the Dolphins with that run. It is a first down for Warwick Dunn. And the Dolphins cannot stop the clock anymore. They will have the stoppage at the 2-minute warning, however.
Wow. 3rd and 6. Jason Taylor peeks inside. You see 99 right there. There was a zone blitz. He's coming back in coverage. He loses sight of the ball. He goes to peek inside and then gets caught up in everything, and that allows Warwick Dunn to get around the corner.
And Arthur Blank is as happy as anyone, the owner on the sidelines, and Dunn was very smart just to slide, take his 8 yards, and just about tidy things up.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Sprint Business. With Sprint Business, you can make just about any place a workplace. Sprint Business. Yes, you can.
2 minutes remaining here in Miami with the Falcons leading 17-10. No timeouts left for the Dolphins. First down on the 18-yard line, and they'll just run this one out. So the Miami Dolphins, who got great running today from Brown and Williams, 119 yards between them and a touchdown, averaging over 5.5 yards per carry. Gus Frerotte could not get the passing game going, and it's always a team thing. And we'll bring you up to date on the numbers, the rushing story and all that, the time of possession. About 11 minutes advantage to the Falcons today, Moose.
Well, the big thing was the emergence of the passing game for the Atlanta Falcons. We all know that they can run the ball very well, but what I was impressed with is Michael Vick's performance. We saw how much he was under pressure today, and yet it's the first time this season he's gone over 200 yards. His completion percentage was over 70%. He hadn't been over 60% this season. So the passing game, to me, was what was impressive, because they had been struggling a little bit there, getting at the ball to their wide receivers. I mean, Brian Finneran has a breakout day today.
The Falcons will go to 6-2 on the year, and that still ties the second best franchise start. Warwick Dunn, 88 yards and a touchdown. That's in the rushing department. 3 in a row for the Falcons for the first time all year, but they know they have home-and-home games with Tampa Bay and Carolina coming up, and of course those two teams are finishing up, and we'll try to get you to that game. But what a great NFC South race it is with those three teams, and Tampa Bay, I think, has to keep up with both the Panthers and the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons and the Panthers are establishing them as the class themselves, as the class of the NFC South. Tampa Bay is going to have to do some catching up, but you know, a lot of people around the country have focused on the NFC East as a very competitive division, but the NFC South is getting that way right now.
And there you see Nick Saban and Jim Mora for the Dolphins. They dropped down to 3-5 on the year. They came in with a chance to possibly move into first place in the AFC East, but they lose today by a score of 17-10 to the Atlanta Falcons. 3-5 on the year for the Dolphins, and Jason Taylor with a tremendous game. So that's the story here from Dolphin Stadium, and all of us will be back here in Miami when we return. Once again, the final, Falcons 17 and the Dolphins 10.